What would happen if the invisible shield protecting our entire digital world suddenly shattered? We're about to explore a scenario that sounds like it's straight out of a movie, but the implications are profoundly real. Okay, let's dive into this.
So, imagine you wake up one morning. Everything seems normal. The sun is out, coffee's brewing, but it's not. Something's wrong. You check your phone, the apps are there, websites load, but the fundamental trust that makes it all work, it's just gone. What is this invisible force that holds our digital lives together?
Well, the first tremors would hit your wallet immediately. Those secure connections that protect your money, your transactions, your identity, they'd be wide open. Then the chaos would spread. Every email, every text message, every video call you've ever made would essentially become an open book for literally anyone to read. The very idea of privacy? Yeah, that's a thing of the past.
And finally, the concept of who you are online would just crumble. How could you prove you're you when anyone, anywhere, could impersonate you with zero effort? This is a world where digital trust has completely evaporated.
So what is this invisible foundation that just collapsed in our little thought experiment? It's something we all rely on every single day, probably hundreds of times, without ever giving it a second thought.
It's encryption. You know that little padlock icon in your browser? That's the end result of it. The fact that your bank doesn't store your password in plain text for everyone to see? That's encryption. It is the silent mathematical guardian of our entire digital existence.
Now let's really unpack the immediate and systemic fallout. What would a world without any digital secrets actually look like?
The first domino to fall would be finance, for sure. Attackers wouldn't need to be sophisticated hackers anymore. They could just read the data flowing across the network. To prevent a global financial meltdown, the only real option would be to pull the plug on the whole thing.
And the scope of the exposure here is just staggering. We're not talking about a social media password. We're talking about the keys to the kingdom, your bank accounts, your private medical records, corporate secrets, even government intelligence. All of it just laid bare for anyone to see.
I mean, just stop and think about that for a second. Every private conversation you've had, every sensitive business negotiation, every personal confession, it's all public now. It would be like living in a house with no walls, where anyone can listen in at any time. This brings up one of the most chilling concepts in cybersecurity. For years, intelligence agencies and hackers have been hoarding enormous amounts of encrypted data. They can't read it yet, so they just save it, waiting for the day they finally can. In this scenario, that day has come. Decades of secrets unlocked in an instant. But the damage, it goes so much deeper than just data breaches. The deepest wound would be to the very concept of trust, because the internet isn't just cables and servers. It's an ecosystem built on a foundation of trust. I mean, how can you shop online if your payment isn't secure? How can you use the cloud if you know your files aren't private? Without the absolute guarantee of encryption, the modern digital economy would just grind to a halt. And this really gets to the psychological heart of the matter. We have built a global civilization on the belief that a specific kind of math is so incredibly hard, it's practically unbreakable. If that belief suddenly shatters, it's not just a technical failure, it's a crisis of confidence in the very logic that underpins our modern world. So is this all just a fun little thought experiment, a scary story? Or is there a real-world threat that could actually make this nightmare a reality? Let's take a look. First things first, let's be crystal clear about something. The encryption we use today is incredibly robust. It is not fragile. It's the product of decades of brilliant work by mathematicians and computer scientists, and it is held strong against basically every attack we've ever thrown at it. So no, it is not going to fail tomorrow.
However, there's a storm on the horizon, a new type of computing, quantum computing. It just doesn't play by the old rules. In theory, a powerful enough quantum computer could solve those impossible math problems, and in doing so, it could effectively pick the lock on our current digital security.
But you know what? The story doesn't end with a threat. It ends with a challenge. Right now, humanity is in a race to build the next generation of defenses before the attackers can build the next generation of weapons.
The answer is something called post-quantum cryptography, or PQC. This is a whole new field of mathematics, designing encryption that is secure even against a future quantum computer. The smartest minds on the planet are working on this right now, as we speak.
And rolling this out, it's going to be a monumental task. I mean, think about it. Every server, every phone, every banking system, every single piece of critical infrastructure on Earth will need to be upgraded. It's a quiet, invisible arms race, and the stakes could not be higher.
So what's the big takeaway from all of this? After all the doom and gloom and the race to adapt, what should you remember? It really comes down to how we think about trust in the digital age.
This is such a critical point. Our digital world isn't some fortress with static permanent walls. It's more like a living ecosystem. It adapts. It counters new threats. It evolves to survive. And that resilience, that's its true strength.
And that leads us right here. The trust you feel when you send a message or buy a coffee online, it isn't a natural state of being. It is a deliberate, carefully constructed, and constantly maintained piece of human engineering. We build the trust that allows our world to function.
So we'll leave you with this thought. Challenges are inevitable. New technologies will always create new vulnerabilities. The ultimate test isn't whether we can avoid those challenges. It's whether we can adapt and prepare for the future before it's too late.